Racing under the lights for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, Texas Motor Speedway, the site for this one. As we're just 3 races away from the end of the 2012 season. A great points battle shaping up, and a great race obviously in front of you. The starting grid will roll across the top of the screen. Turner Motorsports has the front row locked up with Nelson Piquet Jr. and our points leader, James Busher. We're going to follow along with a few different drivers, actually ride along with a few different drivers. Guys, take it through them.
Yeah, let's hop in with Ron Hornaday. He starts 22nd in the Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevy. Ron's won a race in every one of the last 7 years, yet to win this year. Finished second once, hadn't got to victory lane though.
Mikey, let's ride along with Ty Dillon. Second place in points, as you mentioned, lost that point lead last week at Martinsville because of a broken sway bar arm. 21 points behind here. He's won on a mile-and-a-half the year at Atlanta, and he will start his Bass Pro Shop Chevy from the 9th spot.
Let's hop inside Kyle Busch's Dollar General Toyota. He's also won a race in each of the last 7 years, hasn't won this year. He also has finished second once, but hadn't got to victory lane. And he and Ron Hornaday had a lot in common in this introduction, and they had a lot in common last fall, too.
Yes, they did.
Let's also ride along with our point leader, James Busher. He will start his great clip Chevy from the front row. He said how much a win would mean to him here. This is his home racetrack, and he's never got to victory lane on the big oval. He has all the other racetracks around here.
And before the green flag flies, let's go back down trackside and pit road to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, one of my favorite things about the Camping World Truck Series is seeing young drivers get an opportunity to show off their talent. And over the years, we've seen some great ones. How about Kurt and Kyle Busch, maybe Greg Biffle or Carl Edwards? Well, I want to add a name to that list. If you haven't been watching much lately, keep your eye on young Ryan Blaney. Let's show you a list of how many drivers have had some great starts to their career. In their first 6 races, these guys have been pretty impressive. Of course, Mark Martin was already a superstar. Ron Hornaday and Mike Skinner, they started this series back in 1995. But how about Ryan Blaney? An average finish of 7.1. Very impressive with a win already this year, and a finish no worse than 11th this season. I'm telling you, this young kid is the real deal, and I think tonight the 29 can go to victory lane. Hermie?
Well, Ray, early tonight in the setup show, we talked to our championship contenders, James Busher, Ty Dillon, and Timothy Peters. But I'm not so convinced we need to sleep on Parker Kligerman. Right now, he is 4th, 36 points out. Now, I know that's a full race, but we've got 3 races left on 3 tough racetracks. And if he could do it, think how cool it would be how he's doing it. Half the season in Brett Keselowski Racing, half the season for Red Horse Racing. And look at his starts and average finishes in both of these trucks. Remarkably consistent, and these guys have not given up yet. And if these other guys have any kind of trouble, they're going to invite Parker Kligerman back to the championship party.
Hey, what if we try to get a word with Parker since you talked about him, Hermie? Parker Kligerman, it's Michael Waltrip up in the speed booth. Do you copy, brother?
You guys put in and go in there after the race, getting that truck ready for Phoenix. That's what championship caliber teams are made of. You guys are champions in my eyes. Let's go get the cowboy ass tonight.
Parker Kligerman, I like what you're saying. You're going to go get you a cowboy hat. You got a truck you can win with, buddy. You're right in this championship battle. If these guys in front of you slip a little.
Got a call you said there, Mike. Yeah, we got a real fast truck here in our number 7 Toyota Tundra. Camp Horse around on the front. Chad Kendrick and all the guys did a great job getting this thing together. We're just going to go out here and just got to take our time to get up front. The fun thing about this is that normally this race is really cold and flat out, but it seems to be a lot hotter here this weekend, and it's laying a lot of rubber on the track, which is causing it to be a lot slicker out here. So we'll see what happens.
I appreciate it, buddy. You've been fun to watch this year. Have a good night.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's take a look at the numbers for Texas Motor Speedway and our Ram track description. This mile-and-a-half racetrack, and it's so fast. We talk about it every time we come here.
It was built for speed. 24 degrees of banking. You see 5 degrees on the straightaway. Fast speeds, upwards of 190 miles an hour on the straightaways.
You can see these guys are going to go 147 laps. The pit window is somewhere between 50 and 55 laps, Phil, but I sure do love the way these Goodyear tires are falling off. These guys are sliding all over the racetrack, and it's going to be a fun race.
That was our Pep Boys race analysis. Again, 36 trucks lined up 2 by 2 as we get ready for the start of this one. An all-Turner Motorsports front row. Nelson Piquet Jr. has opted for the outside line as he will lead this field to the green flag tonight. James Busher on the inside line. I asked James before this race got underway, are there any team orders as far as you leading the lap? He said, we don't know. We'll find out when the green flag drops. It's in the air. We're underway from Texas. A great start for Nelson Piquet moved out in front of that 31, working their way through 1 and 2.
Paluto jumped out in the third spot, but he stayed up high, and Kyle Busch grabbed that third spot. Now he's going for Buescher for second.
Yeah, if there were any team orders, Kyle Busch is going to mess that up. He's got his sights on the lead. He doesn't want to mess around and let Buescher and PK play any games. He wants to get out front in a hurry.
Kyle Busch already up to second, all over the back bumper of that 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr. Nelson Piquet wins the race for the first lap. He gets a bonus point, but Kyle Busch all over the back bumper as they go through 1 and 2.
You can see Nelson slides up the hill a little bit, opens the bottom door for Busch. Not able to drive in there, though.
You know how much Kyle Busch would love to get to victory lane. Kyle Busch Motorsports has not been to victory lane this year with that 18 truck. They won last week with Denny Hamlin, but that was the 51 truck that only runs part-time.
Kyle Busch has not been to victory lane in the Nationwide Series or the Truck Series in 2012 and would like to change that statistic tonight.
We talked about the multiple grooves here at Texas Motor Speedway and how we said they would start low and begin looking high. Kyle tried to go high right there. We saw him come off the gas. Exiting turn 2, though, that truck got tight. He slid up the hill and had to back out of the gas.
Johnny Sauter on the inside of the 3 of Ty Dillon. John West Townley back there in the 09.
I talked to Ty Dillon right before the race, and I said, take a look at this right side of your screen. This happened just a moment ago. That's the 09 of John West Townley. Got middle of the racetrack.
Looks like he got a little loose getting down in the corner, Phil, and that opened the door for Crafton on the bottom, and Ty Dillon racing for a championship goes around the top side.
Right before that, on the right side of your screen, take a look.
A little tight action there. Looked like Ty was trying to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. Johnny Sauter was already there. I started to say, I talked to Ty right before the race, and I said, have you tried the top or the middle? He said, no, I've been right on the bottom, but I'm pretty sure I'll be up there sometime. He's already up to the top of the racetrack.
It's only lap 5.
Yeah, he was up there on lap 1 as well. And these guys just know that about Texas. They know that about these tires and the way these trucks handle, that there's all kinds of options. If you can't get it done on the bottom, then there's other places you can go.
Nelson Piquet has about a half a second lead over Kyle Busch. Then it's James Buescher. Joey Coulter's moved up to the 4th spot. Miguel Paluto holding on to 5th. David Mayhew, Parker Kligerman, Eric Almirola, Matt Crafton, and Ty Dillon, your top 10.
Looks like that 18 truck of Kyle Busch is a little bit tight. His truck won't turn exiting the corner. We keep seeing him peeking up to the high side on the way off the corner, and he's not able to make any ground up there. See, Piquet's driving away.
Since the start of this race, Kyle Busch jumped up in the first 2 to 3 laps, all the way up to second, right on the back bumper of Nelson Piquet Jr. But now that we've gone 6 laps, it looks as though Nelson Piquet Jr. is able to maintain that pace, and Kyle Busch has fallen off.
And how much easier does this week have to be for James Buescher? Not only does he come home, he comes home with the point lead. Last week at Martinsville, he struggled all through practice, got a lap down, fought his way back to a 6th place finish, but this week qualified up front, and he's closing in on Kyle Busch for that 2nd spot.
Practice up front. Here's a debut for that 4 truck right here. That's Brandon McReynolds, our buddy Larry Max. So Tom Bodine into the outside wall at the exit of 2.
Bodine very high coming off the turn number 2, scrapes the wall as he came out of 2. That allows Brandon McReynolds to have the advantage on the bottom of the racetrack, take that spot away.
What about Tom Bodine? He's won 6 times here. Brandon McReynolds making his first start. Brandon sees Todd run into the wall. You think, what do you think? Is this how I got to go to win one of these babies? I got to go that hard?
Maybe he was low enough he didn't actually see Todd hit that wall.
Early in this one, on lap number 8, there's the distance between 1st and 2nd. Nelson Piquet Jr. has a 1.4 second lead over Kyle Busch. James Buescher, Joey Coulter, Miguel Paluto, your top 5 in the WinStar World Casino 350. This is not a game at Texas Motor Speedway. Nelson Piquet Jr. in front of his teammate James Buescher was able to make the pass on Kyle Busch, take that 2nd spot away, but hasn't been able to close the gap too much on his teammate. The 1.7 second lead between the top 2 trucks. Kyle Busch has dropped back to 3rd. Joey Coulter holds on to 4th. And Parker Kligerman back there in the 5th position.
Guys, that's the truck I've had my eye on started in the 10th spot. A lot of talk in the garage area was that this was the best truck in happy hour last night. How did he do that? He was 20th fastest. Never made any mock qualifying runs, but his average time was the best of anybody in that last practice session. The guy said, keep an eye on this 7 truck. He's going to the front.
And did you hear how confident he was when he was talking to his team as he was riding around before the green flag? We're going to go get us a cowboy hat. We're going to win this race. He's driven from 10th to 5th. I'm starting to believe him. I think he's got a truck he can win this baby with.
And his teammate is just in front of him as far as the championship standings go. Timothy Peters currently 3rd in those championship standings, Herman.
Yeah, but Timothy Peters, Rick, does not like his truck right now. He qualified 14th, now battling Brendan Goff for the 16th position. He's been very, very loose to start this race. Crew Chief Butch Hilton is just hoping and telling Timothy Peters that the more they burn some fuel off, get more nose weight on this truck, they're hoping it's going to snug up. But right now, too loose to move forward for the 17. Ray?
And Hermie, I've been listening to the radio for Kyle Busch in that Dollar General Tundra. He said he's very loose in the center, so they're making some adjustments by turning on and off some of the blower fans on of his tires. He said he's pretty good on entry, but loose in the center. Keep in mind, his crew chief is Eric Phillips. Eric has 26 wins, Kyle with 30, but right now they're just cruising around.
And did you guys think that it sounded like those two hit when Kyle came up on that 0.8?
You know, we talk all the time about how critical aero is, especially at a track where you're running 180 miles an hour in a pickup truck. And that just tells you how much that truck was moving around. Even passing a lap truck, you need every bit of the downforce you got, because when some of it goes away, you got your hands full. Kyle had his hands full exiting turn 4.
Had to play with that throttle. Here we go. Cale Gale's getting by the 29 of Ryan Blaney. That's a battle for the 13th position.
Cale Gale's got it now. As Ryan Blaney's dropped back to the 14th spot.
That's Ryan Sieg running along with those guys too. So good battles inside the top 15. You can see Blaney just can't stick to the bottom. It looks like Sieg's got a good run up under him as well. Ryan's not being able to, Blaney that is, not being able to hold the bottom very well.
You can see that group is right in front of Timothy Peters that we were just talking about a few moments ago. Timothy back in the 16th